What's good with y'all, man? Scotty Knows back at it, talking hoops per usual. Happy New Year's! It's 2026 now, January 1st. So I hope everybody's having a great, awesome, safe New Year's Day. And yeah, this is gonna be my first video of 2026. And I think a great way to start off 2026 is by doing a college basketball video. Why not? Haven't done one yet. I've given y'all NBA content. I want to give y'all WNBA content once that season rolls around. But right now, we are in the new year. We are 2 months away from March, and I think it's the perfect time to start talking about college basketball. So, in this video, I'll be giving y'all kind of like my take on Caleb Wilson, kind of like a scouting report, or kind of not really much of a scouting report. I'm not gonna get too deep into this one, but more so just a generalization of who he is as a basketball player, and just on my opinion that he is a dark horse when it comes to those top three picks: Cam Boozer, AJ DeBonsa, Durin Peterson. So I think he's a little bit of a dark horse when it comes to like the top being a top three pick. He's for sure a top five pick. I think people know who he is. I think he surprised a lot of people based on how dominant and how talented he actually is. So based on the talent that he has, I believe that he's a top three pick. He's top three pick worthy in this draft. I think there's four top three pick talents in this draft. I think it's him, AJ DeBonta, Cam Boozer, Durin Peterson. Again, this is my Caleb Wilson video. Pretty much like the dark horse of the in this NBA draft when it comes to those top three picks. Hope you guys enjoy the video. And yeah, we're gonna get right into it, man. I appreciate y'all for watching this video or clicking on this video, and we're gonna get right into it. Caleb Wilson, the dark horse. Let's go. So before we get into the scattering report of Caleb Wilson, we have to give him the proper introduction, right? So coming from Atlanta, Georgia pipeline of hoopers or of basketball, he comes from where the Anthony Edwards of the world came from where Walt Frazier's come from, way back in the day, from Dwight Howard, Jalen Johnson, I believe, as well. So he comes from the Atlanta, Georgia pipeline of basketball players. Former McDonald's All-American, of course, 2025 Gatorade Player of the Year. Played with Cam Boozer on the Knight Riders AAU team, I believe, and I think they won Peach Jam as well. So obviously, his high school resume speaks for itself. He has plenty of accolades going for himself, right? And that kind of just speaks to like when you're a McDonald's All American, when you're freaking Gatorade Player of the Year. It's kind of ideal that you should be a top five type of pick, right? It's kind of like the cards kind of unfold for or reveal themselves. And then, of course, as we all know, he committed to UNC, and now he's dominating on UNC, which is, I believe, still top 25 ranked, or as they should be, in the country right now. So that's pretty much a little introduction to Caleb Wilson. And back in high school, also for statistical reasons, he averaged 22.2 points per game in high school, 11 rebounds, 3.5 blocks, and 2 steals as well. So when you talk about the statistical category of stocks, he averaged around 3 plus. So that's real impressive as well. Again, it's at the high school level, but still coming from the Atlanta, Georgia pipeline of things, the competition, I'm sure, is pretty solid over there. So that's a little introduction to Caleb Wilson and just what he did in high school, a little quick glimpse. But now we're going to get into why I believe he's a dark horse. So to begin with, we have three primary players in this draft class that are really like taking off and that are really um, showing that they could be number one picks. To be honest with you, uh, start off with AJ DeBonta, kind of like this large forward. He could play the two, the three, probably even the four. Um, kind of I think the idea of AJ DeBonsa that you want him to be is more of a player that can score on all three levels, provide two-way ability. When I look at AJ DeBonsa, I believe he's like a 6'9" version of Jaylen Brown, kind of. Mid-range game, get to the basket, two-way ability, like I said. Play at the wing position, maybe even be at the four, because he's just he's a pretty large human being as well. So I've actually seen AJ DeBonsa in person, so yeah, he's definitely like a good 6'8", like 6'9", 6'10", I would say personally. So yeah, AJ DeBonsa, that's the quick glimpse on him. And then we also have Cameron Boozer, who's kind of like this hub, power forward, center type of player. You could play through him. He's very cerebral, high IQ, great playmaker, awesome rebounder. That's one of the highlights of his game in general, or the main highlight to me. Like his rebounding is just awesome, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And then when you look at Duran Peterson, who's obviously been out with his hamstring injuries, his leg injuries, kind of frustrating. Definitely wish that he would play a bit more, but of course you're preparing for the NBA as well, so you have to do what you got to do to manage the injury. But yeah, he's a great player. He can score on all three levels pretty much. Like he could get to the basket. He could his jump shot is kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Ray Allen personally. Uh, in terms of like he could come off a handoff, he's just gonna rise up and shoot it. He kind of has the ultimate green light, but rightfully so because he's such a great shot maker and just shooter. So when you look at not AJ DeBonsa, Duran Peterson's game, you definitely see like he could be in that realm of Anthony Edwards when you combine the shot making and scoring ability with the athleticism that he has. Not as athletic vertically, I would say, but for sure, when it comes to just like acceleration, blow by ability, just getting to the basket, scoring in the mid range, getting to the hoop, and of course the three ball. Definitely could be in the Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell side of things in 5 or 6 years for sure. He could definitely be on that caliber of shooting guards in the NBA. So I know I just talked a whole lot about those three players, right? But there's a reason for that. Caleb Wilson, his game is like I don't have any comps for him, but he's for sure. You look at his immediate size and length. So he's about 6'9", 6'10". I'm checking right now. Give me 1 second. He's 6'10", 215, right? He's 6'10", 215, power forward, versatile, super athletic. I think the main highlight of his game is honestly his athleticism. When you look at his athleticism, he's going to be great in transition, great in the half court on defense when it comes to just being switchable, guarding big men, guarding guards. So, of course, like to me, the game of basketball is for sure a game where you don't want too many holes. So defensively, he fills so many holes for you. Or he's not. He doesn't have really any holes defensively when it comes to athleticism. He could guard up top. He could guard down low. I think Caleb Wilson's game will be best suited next to like a legitimate center, like a. Uh, Let me think. Like it would be great if he's next to, say, not saying that he would go to this team at all, but imagine him next to like a Donovan Clingan or a I don't know, like who's like another like just a traditional rim protecting center that could just rebound, finish, and whatnot. Put him at the four, kind of like put him in that Alex Sarr role, kind of like an Alex Sarr type of player, or like an Evan Mobley, where it's just like you want to put him at the four, put him next to a Jalen Allen, Jarrett Allen, right, and let him roam around, let him be that weak side player on the block that could just block shots, protect the rim or whatnot, just wreak havoc that way, and just be super versatile, be super, just be a playmaker on that end, right? That's the kind of player that Caleb Wilson is. And then, of course, offensively, he just has a lot of flashes where he is just kind of, he puts himself in a place where it's like you could definitely see that he's still improving, but he shows plenty of flashes, whether it's like his turnaround jump shot. He has a turnaround jump shot that he tries to implement into his game, which isn't really polished yet, or which isn't really like working yet. But I could definitely see a vision for him moving forward into the NBA, where he is in the post and like his go-to shot for like a bailout shot is kind of like a little turnaround Pascal Siakam type of shot or something like that. A little simple post move, spin, or just like turn around, shoot it over the top of players. So I definitely see potential when it comes to his scoring. I think his hands are still improving, but at the same time, they're not bad at all. I think as well when it comes to his handle and just isolation game, that's definitely a question mark, which I believe when it comes to these three players, Duran Peterson, Cam Boozer, AJ DeBonta, they just have those creation things over Caleb Wilson. If Caleb Wilson showed a little bit more creation, if he showed a little bit more of those type of things, I believe he would definitely be in that top three conversation. But I believe he gets put in that dark horse area because he just doesn't have that offensive creation thing down yet. The second thing that kind of worries me about his game is also his how locked in he is. Like he's not always locked in when it comes to like the little things, the defense. I think there's certain times on defense where you see that he's not in the right position or like his awareness is a little bit lacking. I think he has certain sometimes he has mental lapses. I'm not sure if that's just because of fatigue. I know for me playing basketball sometimes, or for everybody playing basketball, first of all, when you're fatigued, it's hard for you to play well when you're fatigued, right? Because you just can't keep up with the action that's going on the court. While at the same time, it's kind of like you have like mental mistakes because you're just focused on your breathing. You're focused on a whole lot of things. So when you're fatigued, you just make stupid decisions. Your legs aren't under you. So to me, when I see him on defense, he definitely shows great potential on that end. He definitely does great things on that end. I think he'll come into the NBA and be a great defender immediately. But for him to really be to really for him when it comes to improvement on that end, which he's already great at, it's just really lock in on the little things on defense. Be more disciplined on defense, locking on the little things, and just be in better position. I feel like there's plenty of times where I've watched his game and I'm like, man, if he's just like in this position right here, and doesn't have that poor body language on defense, he could have made a play on the ball right there. So I think as a defensive playmaker, he could be phenomenal, and he already is phenomenal. But he could be awesome, like one of the best in the NBA when it comes to just being a playmaker on the defensive end for sure. The way he could just get like he's that type of player where he just gets deflections just like effortlessly sometimes. Like he won't even be trying to really get the deflection. He'll just put his arm out there or his hand out there because he has great length and just like um, active hands that he'll just deflect the ball or just poke the ball out and just get out in transition and then boom, easy dunk, right? So really what allows him to be a great NBA player and what allows him to really be a player that I think every NBA scout should love is because his translation to the NBA game is awesome. He's going to be great in transition. That's crucial in the NBA. And then defensively, he just fills so many holes for you because he can pretty much do everything. He's super versatile. The only questions you have from him is just like his offensive skill and creation. More so his creation. I think he shows flashes of his skill as well. He shows certain connective passing abilities. He can make the right play. He has some vision on the court. His three ball is still coming along. Of course, I think the three ball is something that for everybody is kind of like a swing factor. That's always the thing that you look at and you're like, okay, if he could just knock down the 3-pointer, then he would be in great hands. But I think for a lot of NBA players, you're going to be like, oh, the three ball. But really, when you look at his value, where his value will be coming into the NBA, right? It's going to be on the defensive end and just being like an overall versatile four that could really impact the game on defense. And then, of course, his offensive game is going to slowly get better. And I feel like I'm talking about his offensive game like it's bad or something. It's really not. I see a lot of potential. I think it's just not there yet, which is rightfully so. He's a freshman at UNC, about to be in the NBA, top 5 pick. That's why you draft top 5. That's why you draft freshmen in the lottery because you're banking on the potential. So when I see his turnaround jump shot, when I see maybe certain things in his mid-range game, when I see his possibilities of being a solid finisher at the rim, even though he could get better in that aspect, especially in the half-court way of things. He's a player offensively that's averaging 20. That's still I feel like he's still getting better off. Like he still has certain things on offense that you really want him to just get better at. And he's only shooting like 26. He's shooting 26% from 3 right now. So he has a lot of things defensively that tell you like, okay, this is NBA worthy for sure. And then offensively, it's like, man, this dude is averaging 20, and he's still like, there's still certain things that you're uncertain about on offense. So with that being said, it's like he's a really impressive player, and he should be um, a top 5 worthy pick, and he possibly can be top 3. So that pretty much makes him a dark horse for that top 2, top 3 type of pick. Now, when it comes down to like the leadership aspects of basketball, right, which is very crucial, from what we hear in the media, from what we read, what we hear on the broadcast, right. You hear that his character is top notch. He's an awesome leader on the court, and you can see that. Like when you see It even goes back to that Kansas game when you see him play extremely well. He kind of has this tendency to fire up the crowd, right? That's a form of leadership, like kind of like have everybody rally behind you, and take them to the promised land. Have them believe that you guys could go far in March, right? Have them believe that you could really do something special this season. And I see that like his confidence is kind of contagious to everybody else on his team. So I think when it comes to his character, obviously because like I'm just someone that just likes to talk basketball, right? I don't know him personally at all. I don't know him at all. But from what you hear and what you may read, whether it's in an article or just hear on the broadcast or whatnot, his character and his leadership is top notch, and I think that's something that for sure goes a long way, not just in basketball but any sport or just life in general. So I think when you talk about the checking off the character box or the leadership box, he checks that box as well. Caleb Wilson is a dark horse, or just to sum things up, he's a dark horse in this top three race for sure. Just because uh, I wouldn't be surprised if a team picks him with the second or third overall pick personally, just because he definitely shows he puts on display a lot of things when it comes to like his skill and the potential with that, and then of course what you already see on defense. I think that's something that's really intriguing, and I think that's something that the right team would be willing to bake on. Because if you feel like you have the right guy for you, just pick him. If you feel like he's your guy, pick him. If he's your guy, he's your guy. So it will also depend on who gets those top three picks. It could be Indiana, it could be Atlanta, it could be Sacramento, Charlotte, Brooklyn. Um, so the top three picks in this draft will highly depend on who gets the pick. If you're Indiana, you're probably looking at like an AJ DeBonta or a Deron Peterson. Not really. I don't know if you're looking at a Cam Boozer personally. Or actually, I think all three of those players wouldn't be bad in Atlanta at all. I mean, not Atlanta, excuse me. In Indiana at all. When you look at Indiana, you want to get out in transition. You want to play fast. You're led by Tyrese Halliburton, who should be back for the season after this one, for the 2026-2027 season. So when you look at Indiana, um, I don't want to mind any three of those players or even Caleb Wilson as well to be on that team. So I think Indiana is one of those teams where it's like, okay, I can see him going to Indiana for sure. Playing behind the Pascal Siakam, or really playing with the Pascal Siakam. Siakam's versatile enough offensively to play the three or the four, and on defense, Siakam's a pretty good defender as well. Kind of like a great all-around forward to have on your team. So I don't see why he can't go to Indiana. I think my second team, or Indiana would be my third team. My second team that I would want him to land with would be the Sacramento Kings. I think the Sacramento Kings right now are obviously like they want to head. They're trying to head towards a rebuilding situation. Right now they're 8-25 with Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Domantas Sabonis on their teams. Those are three All-Star caliber players or former All-Stars, right? Those are three players that I can see plenty of other teams finding use for. I can see Domantas Sabonis being useful on the Warriors possibly. I could see a player like Zach LaVine being useful for a team that could just use a little bit more offensive punch and whatnot. Um, the thing that's difficult about it is like you don't have. It's hard to really like trade those players with their value right now. Like DeRozan is kind of like a hard player to find fit for. Domantas Sabonis is a hard player to find fit for. Zach LaVine is probably the one player where I look at and I'm like I could see a team taking a bank on Zach LaVine for sure. So if the majority of those players are back going into next season, the one after this one, the 2026-2027 season, having a versatile four next to Domantas Sabonis could really do wonders for you. Obviously, he'll be a rookie, so he's not gonna be playing. Who knows how he might start off right away. You don't really know how he's gonna play right away, just being a rookie and whatnot. But I think when it comes to fit and of course like buying in on the potential of a young player, he checks both of those boxes for the Kings. He will fit well, or he'll fill a need. Most importantly, he will fill a need for what the Kings could kind of use right now, especially if the Domantas Sabonis is still on the team. And he will also, you could also bank on his potential on the offensive side of the ball, and not just be like a versatile defensive type of player, but really like be a player that could be like a legitimate young pillar for you moving forward. So when you do trade Zach LaVine, when you do trade DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis, you at least have Caleb Wilson to bank on and be like, okay, we have this pillar that we could build around and jumpstart the rebuild. My primary team that I would love to see him on would be Charlotte. To be honest with you, I think that's like that would be like the match made in heaven. I think when you look at the Charlotte Hornets and they have LaMelo Ball at the point, Nipple at the two, uh, Ryan Kalkbrenner at the center position. Going into next season, they could just maybe draft another center or just sign another center or just get another quality just center that could just do the typical things: rebound well, protect the rim nicely, and then of course just like finish the easy buckets, the bunnies, the short jumpers, the little touch shots, the shots around the rim, the layups, the dunks. And then of course when you look at their overall draft class from this season, they are the Charlotte Hornets are really primed for success for this next year or two for sure, with or without LaMelo Ball. So I think when you put Caleb Wilson at that 4 position, it just fits so nicely. To be honest with you, I think they could kind of use that versatile 4 that could get out in transition, be a loud threat, be a defensive anchor for a team with LaMelo Ball and Nipple at the guard spots. So I think it will be a great fit for LaMelo. I think it will make LaMelo's life easier, and I think that would just be honestly that would just be the match made in heaven to me. Caleb Wilson, Charlotte Hornets. He'll still be down south, so he'll still be somewhat around his roots, kind of coming from the Georgia pipeline, even though it's a little bit, North Carolina, the Carolinas are a little bit higher than Georgia geographically, but I believe the Charlotte Hornets are the match made in heaven for a player like Caleb Wilson. So with that being said, Caleb Wilson is my dark horse when it comes to these top 3 picks in the NBA draft, right? Not a dark horse in the whole draft. I think people know who Caleb Wilson is. I think we know that he's going to be a pretty good player, hopefully, or he should be coming into the NBA, and that he's one of the better college basketball players right now. But when it comes to those top 3 picks, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being 2 or 3. That's just my opinion. Again, I'm Scotty Knows. I thank y'all for watching this video. I hope this was entertaining. I hope I'm getting better at entertaining y'all. I hope I'm getting better at just talking basketball with y'all or to y'all and providing my analysis. I'm still getting better at those things, but every video I'm getting better. But anyways, with that being said, that concludes the video on Caleb Wilson. That's kind of my pitch to him being a dark horse in this NBA draft, right? He's not really a dark horse in the not in the NBA draft, excuse me. He's more of a dark horse when it comes to those top 3 picks. I think people know who Caleb Wilson is. People know how good he is, how good he should be coming into the draft or just in this college basketball season. He's one of the better college basketball players right now. But I think for sure because of those 3 players and Cam Boozer, Duren Peterson, AJ Debonta, I think Caleb Wilson should be getting a little bit more shine when it comes to those top 2 or 3 picks. Number 1, I don't think a team would take a bite at him at number 1. I think it's either going to be Duren Peterson or Cam Boozer, to be honest with you. It could be AJ Debonta as well. But for sure, I don't think a team would bank on him at number 1. But I wouldn't be surprised if he goes number 2 or number 3. If a team like Sacramento lands him, if a team like my Charlotte Hornets get a top 3 pick possibly. So that's my analysis and my take on Caleb Wilson. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I'm doing a better job of entertaining y'all or trying to just talk hoops with y'all. As I'm improving every video, just trying to give y'all my analysis and my opinions on basketball. So this is my first college basketball video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I'm Scotty Knows, and I'll see you guys in the next video.